This is interesting. I say the word interesting because more or less it is good. However, there are a couple of cons to this, and that is the fact that xCloud, which is Microsoft's cloud streaming platform, is now going to be available on the Xbox One, One S, One X, Series S, and Series X. So I could have just summarized that whole sentence by saying the Xbox One and Series consoles, but I wanted to say more words. So this is good for a couple of reasons. I'm going to point out the pros. There's 2 or 3 of them, and then the 1 or 2 cons as well. And this is just synonymous with cloud gaming, period. It doesn't have to be xCloud. It can be Google Stadia. It can be Amazon Luna. It can be NVIDIA GeForce Now. It can be Apple's little whack-ass platform that they're starting. It can be Netflix, who, yes, is starting a cloud streaming platform directly integrated with their TV and movie streaming platform, which is interesting. I've covered a lot of news on that, and people have seemed to really receive that news quite well. And the consensus in the gaming community, at least the community here at Gamer Heaven, is that people are very excited for that. As am I. So during its Gamescom 2021 Xbox stream, Microsoft said Game Pass Ultimate. Now this is an important word for you guys here. Game Pass Ultimate. That is the $15 a month version, not Game Pass Standard, which is $10 a month and limits you to only PC or only console and does not include EA Play or xCloud. Game Pass Ultimate, which does come with a whole bunch of other goodies or bonuses as well, such as 30% off in the Xbox store. We'll get access to over 100 games from cloud on the console. So that is not the entire library of games on Game Pass. Cloud is only supported on Android devices. That was the first devices to get support for xCloud. Then recently, Apple finally started playing well with others. I swear to God, Sony and Apple are always the last platforms to jump on board with things like crossplay or playing well with other platforms. Apple devices such as iPods and iPhones, maybe even iPod Touches, if those are even still a thing, can now play xCloud games with either a Bluetooth controller, Bluetooth to the iPhone, or with touch controls in some of the games. I think there's about 20 or so titles that use like actual, touch control on the screen, which is definitely not an ideal way to mobile game, but it is the most portable. But now this has been added to consoles, and you may be wondering to yourself, Kevin, why not just play it natively on the console? Well, there are a couple of benefits to playing cloud games versus playing native hardware, whether that's a physical disc or a digital game. And that would be, you can play games before you install them. So you browse a library similar to Netflix, but it'll be the Game Pass xCloud, and you just click on a thumbnail of a game because you like the description, or your buddy says, hey, I'm playing this right now, bro, jump in. You don't have to install that game, which if you're on slow internet might take hours, even days if you're in a hotel or something. So you can instantaneously install it. Well, you don't install it. You can just instantaneously play it. And again, you don't need to worry about updating the game or anything because that's all done on their servers and they keep up to date with them. Microsoft uses the example of Sea of Thieves and the ability to jump into a multiplayer game with friends as soon as you get the invite without having to wait for the install. You're watching Netflix or something and you get an invite in Netflix Gaming and you just click on it and you're like, boom. You're playing. It's a game you don't have installed. No worries. You just play it via cloud. Cloud gaming also means that Generation 9, being the PlayStation 5, Switch OLED, Steam Deck, I know it's not a console, it's a PC, Valve Steam Deck, and then also the Xbox Series S and X, that is the 9th generation of home consoles, will be playable on older consoles, so the Xbox One, because there are certain games, for example, Microsoft Flight Simulator and the Medium, those are the only 2 that I can really think of off top, that are only on the Series S and X and are not on the One, and you'll be able to play those on an Xbox One. But we get to a con right here, a big fat negative, and that is the limitation in performance. The maximum that you're going to get out of cloud gaming is 1080p 60. Natively on the Series X, you can get 4K 120. Granted, that's only in some titles, but that is definitely an attainable number. And then on the Series S, the $300 budget banger, as I like to call it, it targets 1440p, 120 hertz. And there's also a fat library. I've covered the numbers of the games and stuff. Series S, 1440p, HDR, 120. Series X, 4K, upscaled in many instances, HDR, 120. As if you're playing on xCloud, the cap for you performance-wise is 1080p 60, which is still not bad, but this is a console, not a PC, so you're most likely on a TV, not a monitor, so it's probably a lot bigger. So you have to think about it. 1080p looks, when you dock your Switch, you can see jagged lines and stuff because that's only 1080p. So For a big monitor or screen, that's a lot. Oh, and the second con, which they don't mention or list here, but it's very, very important, is that you have to have substantially fast up and down speeds to cloud game. That's why there was a big issue 4 years ago or so when the initial push of cloud gaming started, because home internet wasn't where it is now. Even in 4 years or so, a lot of the major providers such as AT&T, Mediacom, Comcast, Xfinity, etc., are offering higher end flagship packages with good up and down speeds and unlimited data caps. That's also important for more affordable. And people are starting to get these available in their geographic areas, especially North America, Canada, Australia, etc. Third world countries and stuff that do not have substantial enough internet to play cloud gaming. Home internet's getting to a point to where cloud gaming is more accessible for more gamers. And this kind of walks you through how to get it set up here. You go to the cloud gaming tab, which will be a panel on your Xbox home menu, and then you'll have a little icon that has a little cloud on it, and you click on that. You can either install it, as you can see, and that installs the actual digital copy of the game, or you can just cloud play that bitch. Now again, this is not the whole library of Game Pass. It is only about a little over 100 titles that you will be able to play. But that's awesome, because again, like the Medium and Flight Sim, which are not going to be playable natively on an Xbox One, can be played like that.